Hello, everybody, and good late afternoon. My name is Don Arleth, and it's time for World News. Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal announced his resignation on Tuesday. Shmyhal submitted his resignation letter as part of a major Ukrainian government reshuffle expected to take place this week. President Volodymyr Zelensky has tapped First Deputy Prime Minister Yulia Svyrydenko to succeed Shmyhal in the Prime Minister's seat. Shmyhal, on the other hand, is expected to take the helm at the Ministry of Defense, replacing Rustem Umerov. Today, Ukraine commemorates Statehood Day, established in 2021 by President Volodymyr Zelensky to highlight the millennia-long continuity of Ukrainian statehood. In his address to the nation, Zelensky honored the resilience of the Ukrainian people and reaffirmed the country's commitment to defending its sovereignty and freedom in the face of Russian aggression.
Ukrainians have stood firm under brutal Russian attacks and will always remain a free and independent people. We have no doubt about that, because we give no reason for anyone to doubt Ukraine. Ukrainians are walking this difficult path with dignity. We are not alone in this struggle. Dozens of other nations are helping us. For the first time in the long history of our statehood, we have so many friends, so many supporters, real partners. For the first time, Ukraine has truly united the world so that the world does not lose everything that makes life worth living. Our people are worthy of this support. Our people are doing more than anyone in the world expected.
Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev has sharply criticized U.S. President Donald Trump's recent ultimatum to the Kremlin, calling it theatrical, while asserting that Russia remains unfazed by the threat. On Monday, Trump announced that unless a peace agreement is reached between Russia and Ukraine within 50 days, the United States will impose severe secondary tariffs.
The tariffs could reach as high as 100%, targeting Russian exports and the country's trading partners. In response, Medvedev, now deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council and a close ally of President Vladimir Putin, posted a defiant message on social media, stating that the world shuddered, expecting the consequences. Belligerent Europe was disappointed. Russia didn't care. European leaders offered mixed reactions. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas acknowledged the firmness of Trump's stance, but expressed concern over the tight timeline.
Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico has announced that Bratislava will not support the European Union's proposed 18th package of sanctions against Russia. In a strongly worded post on Facebook, Fico criticized the European Commission's plan to halt Russian gas imports after January 1st, 2028. Calling it an imbecilic proposal that disregards Slovakia's energy security. Fico revealed that the European Commission had offered Slovakia certain guarantees in exchange for its support of the sanctions package. Bratislava has requested a postponement of the vote on the package, which requires unanimous approval from all EU member states. The Slovakian government is pushing for an exemption that would allow it to fulfill its existing gas contracts with Russia's Gazprom until 2034. The Commission has so far rejected this request, arguing that such an exemption would undermine the core principles of the EU's sanctions regime against Russia. EU Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič is scheduled to speak with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer earlier this evening. The meeting was announced by European Commission spokesperson Olaf Gil during the bloc's daily briefing.
I can confirm that Commissioner Šefčovič had a call with the US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick yesterday evening. I can't provide any details on that. I can confirm that Commissioner Šefčovič will have a call with the United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer this early evening. I can confirm that technical teams from the European Commission are on their way to Washington, D.C. as we speak.
An American citizen who helped Moscow target Ukrainian troops before being extracted by Moscow's special forces has been granted Russian citizenship. Daniel Martindale was presented with a Russian passport at a ceremony in Moscow. Russian media showed Martindale on Tuesday smiling as he received his new citizenship. The Wall Street Journal reported that he was deported from the Russian port city of Vladivostok in 2019 for violating labor laws. Martindale initially stayed in southern Poland before moving to Ukraine just days before Russia's invasion. At a press conference late last year, he said that he made contact with pro-Russian forces via Telegram and passed them information about Ukrainian military facilities in the eastern Donetsk region. The UN's human rights body says civilian casualties in Ukraine in June reached their highest level for the past 3 years. The UNHCR's monitoring mission in Ukraine reports that 232 people were killed and 1,343 wounded just last month.
The devastating physical and psychological impact on civilians of repeated attacks in this and other conflicts cannot be captured by numbers alone. People are having to spend hours sheltering, including in basements, corridors, and available refuges, such as metro stations. Children, older people, and people with disabilities are especially vulnerable to the prolonged stress and disruption of sleep, and in some cases, they're unable to get to shelter. The Russian Federation's full-scale armed attack on Ukraine must urgently be halted, and work on a lasting peace in line with international law must intensify. A peace that ensures accountability for gross violations of international human rights law and serious violations of international humanitarian law.
The Czech Republic and the United Kingdom are exploring opportunities to acquire small modular nuclear reactors. On Monday, the two countries signed a memorandum of understanding that could see 6 British small modular reactors exported to the Central European country.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with his Czech counterpart Petr Fiala on Monday to discuss the initiative. The agreement allows both countries to harness nuclear power and related technologies to drive prosperity, energy security and highly skilled job opportunities. Last month, Britain pledged £2.5 billion to build small modular reactors in the British Isles. Rolls-Royce was selected to build Britain's first small modular reactors, while the state-owned Great British Energy is expected to sign a similar agreement later this year. Meanwhile, the Czech electricity producer, CEZ, said it would take a 20% stake in Rolls-Royce small modular reactors business. The CEZ also plans to deploy 6 units of small modular reactors, which would produce up to 3 gigawatts of power, capable of powering around 1 million homes.
Polish astronauts Sławomir Zelensky and other members of the Axiom 4 mission have safely returned to Earth after their nearly 3-week-long venture. The Poles' participation in this excursion has been hailed as a major feat by many of his compatriots. Piotr Miszczuk has the story.
After nearly 20 days in space, the AX4 mission crew are back on Earth. They have already taken off their spacesuits. Among them, Sławomir Zelensky, the second Pole in history to have completed his spaceflight after Mirosław Hermaszewski visited space in 1978. I spoke to several people in front of the Copernicus Science Center in Warsaw, and they told me that Sławomir did them proud.
I think it's an incredible success and a source of pride for the whole nation, because it's only the second Pole in history to travel to space. In itself, a wholly extraordinary accomplishment. I think we should all be very proud of him.
It's great. I'm happy. I don't know what to say. I'm just happy. We are very proud and happy, and we hope he won't be the last one to fly, and that his mission will bring some benefits to the country.
While on the International Space Station, Sławomir Zelensky carried out some 16 experiments and was involved in numerous educational activities. The impact of those will be everlasting for Polish science.
Every experiment they carried out up there brings in new information regarding outer space in general. In my opinion, these efforts will bring us new insights.
It will certainly help make advances in technology and other fields.
Now is the time for Polish scientists to analyze the data collected by Sławomir Zelensky, but we can already say that this is a giant leap for Poland and for the Polish space industry. For TVP World from the Copernicus Science Center in Warsaw, I'm Piotr Miszczuk.
And that concludes this edition of World News. Thanks for joining us, and stay with us because The Bottom Line with Marie Cato is coming up next.